Welcome to the full Chicago Marathon experience video. It has been a week since I've ran the Chicago Marathon, which is absolutely insane. It feels like a complete lifetime has gone past, honestly. I feel so grateful this whole entire week, honestly, as I just reflect the overwhelming amount of love and support here online on YouTube and Instagram and in person. It has been so overwhelming, and the Chicago Marathon was honestly the most emotional experience of my entire life, which we will get into, throughout this video. But I just wanted to say that I am feeling so grateful after this race. I just ran the Chicago Marathon, like I said last week, but I also did a 10-part YouTube series of the prep leading into the race. So if you're just finding me now, you're just finding this channel here at the end, I still highly suggest going back and watching some of those videos leading into Chicago. But I just did a race day video. I posted it a few days ago. If you're looking for something, more cinematic and inspirational, I guess, more of that type of edit, it's a 5-minute video. You can watch it now, you can watch it later. But in this video, I'm literally going to be breaking down everything, my entire experience of the Chicago Marathon, starting from travel day, ending with, the race day, my reflection, and diving into all of that. So with that all being said, let's get into the video. So we kicked this whole thing off on Wednesday. Wednesday was the travel day into Chicago. We went from Austin. We had a layover in Detroit, which was a little overwhelming because we had a really tight layover. We ended up having only 20 minutes to walk the entire airport. Luckily, we made it to the gate while the last group was boarding. And then we went from Detroit to Chicago. And so it was a pretty easy travel day. We landed in Chicago around 6:30 p.m. Caitlin's uncle picked us up, and we ended up staying at her aunt and uncle's house in the suburbs of Chicago for the couple days leading into the race. Thursday was a really chill day. There was just a shakeout run that I did. Caitlin actually ran her first 5K, which is so exciting. She did the shakeout run with me, but Friday was really the first big day, when we got to Chicago. So we're trying to find the expo. We ended up in the undergrounds of McCormick.
So we're headed up. Somebody said it's like the third floor.
Yeah. I was like, oh, we'll get here and there'll be thousands of people because,
There's
not a soul. But I also think we found our way in the basement of this place.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll find some life soon. It's giving abandoned mall. It's giving abandoned mall. Oh, there's people.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's so quiet.
It is so quiet. Light jog on Sunday. Very light jog.
I know.
So, right now, you're going to go to counter number 31 to pick up your bib.
Thank you.
Okay? And on Sunday, you will come to me at the finish line, and I will give you your medal. I'm in charge of medals at the finish.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, counter 31.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
Have a good race.
I love your YouTube.
Got the stopwatch going, see how long it takes us to go through this merch line. We're at 6 minutes so far.
We got a long way to go.
Got a time update. What are you going to say, 35 minutes?
Yeah, 35 minutes.
I think you could be right. Look who I found! How are you feeling?
I'm nervous, but I'm excited too.
We're in Chicago.
We are. We're here. We're
So-
doing it. Here we are 3 months later. Holy smokes.
Oh man, first one.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was the biggest race expo I have ever been to. As you saw, the merch line was huge. It took us 40 minutes to go through it. Pack and pickup was really, really easy though. They were really efficient and effective. So we really got through pack and pickup, within like 10 minutes, I think. It was not bad at all. But I did want to shout out Paul. If you guys saw on the merch line, I met Paul. He ended up tapping me on the shoulder and telling me that he loved the YouTube, which was so cool. He originally was like, I love your YouTube. And I was like, oh my God, thanks. And then like as he walked away, I was like, oh my God, I should have asked him what his name was, what his goal was, all this type of stuff. I think, when you first start like really creating online, I've been creating online for a few years, but primarily short form on Instagram. And this is really the first time I'm really diving into YouTube. You kind of forget that people are actually watching on the other end of the screen. At least that's me. And so to actually meet someone in person who watched the videos, it was such a cool moment. And I had 40 minutes to work up the courage to, tap him on the shoulder and be like, what's your name? Where are you from? And so we connected, and that was a really special moment during the weekend. So Paul, if you're watching this, I loved meeting you. Thanks so much for the support, and hopefully I meet more of you guys, at these races. But yeah, pack and pick up, so easy. We didn't really explore the expo that much. I was really just trying to get in and out. So we did pack and pick up. We went on the merch line. I got a few Chicago Marathon things, and then we ended up seeing Dory, and she absolutely crushed her race. She's here in Austin. She was kind of a training buddy here with me during this whole entire prep. And yeah, it was really good vibes at the expo. Everyone was really nice. Everyone was really friendly. And the rest of the day, we ended up really just exploring Chicago. And that brings us to Saturday, 24 hours out from the race. Saturday morning, we went downtown to check into our hotel. So like I said, we were with Caitlin's aunt and uncle for the few days leading into the race. But then the night before, we ended up, getting a hotel downtown. That hotel was really cool. We stayed at the Hilton. It was literally right across the street from the park where, the start was, the corrals were. And so I booked it literally in like February, as soon as I found out I was doing this race, and it was the most convenient location ever. Like I said, it was right across the street from the park. There was so much around it. There was a restaurant in the hotel, so the Hilton downtown was great, right across from the park if you're looking to do Chicago in the future. But yeah, checked into our hotel downtown, and then I was going to a shakeout run at 10:45, and those were the big things on the agenda on Saturday. All right, it's Saturday. We are here downtown. We've been staying at Caitlin's aunt and uncle's house in the suburbs the past couple of days, but we just checked into our hotel, and the hotel is actually right across the street from the start line, which is super convenient. Everybody's doing their shakeout runs right now,
And it feels so
and
good
it feels so amazing. I'm going to a shakeout run at 10:45, so it's 9:30 right now, so we're just gonna walk around for a little bit. And so many shakeout runs happening everywhere. Carbon up.
Carbs.
All right, so decided to do a shakeout run to the shakeout run because the whole park is blocked off. So trying to figure out a way to get over to Queens Landing. And so we gotta hustle a little bit. So I was like, you know what? Start part of it. So literally everywhere I tried to cross, they're like, nope. And then I ask, I'm like, do you know where I can cross? They're like, nope. So we're just gonna keep going. I was gonna do this anyways tomorrow, but now I'm definitely going to get to the corrals right when it opens. Give myself enough time, go to the bathroom, do my thing, not have to wait in super long lines. So yeah, definitely gonna be doing that. Wow, look at this. All right, I see a ton of people, so I'm gonna make it. Let's go, right on time too, 10:45.
Floberg. And I think
So yeah, shakeout run didn't go as planned. I ended up doing my shakeout run to the shakeout run, but it was still amazing. I got to see so many people. I got, to see Tony, got to see Omar, got to meet Joey for the first time. I didn't get to say hi to Eric Floberg, who was hosting the shakeout run. He was just so many people around him saying hi to him, talking to him. But me and Eric have connected leading into the Chicago Marathon. So Eric, if you're watching it, so proud of you. You did such an amazing job. I literally just watched your race video that you put out. But Eric has been such an inspiration for me throughout this entire prep, not only for the marathon, but just as a creative. His race series are so good leading into the races that he does. So definitely go check him out. He's been a huge inspiration of mine. So it was really cool to be at the shakeout run, to meet everyone, to just experience it because the energy was absolutely amazing. Found an easier way to get back and doing that whole run again. My mom just landed. She got to the hotel, so I'm about to go meet her and Caitlin. We're gonna get some lunch, but pretty sick deal here. Look who's here. Mama Bear. After the shakeout run, my mom made it into town. She has come to like every single one of my races, and it's been so special over the past 4 years to just like share these big moments with her. She's my number one supporter. So it was really awesome having her here for Chicago. And then the only thing that I really wanted to do on Saturday was go to the Nike store. I've heard so many things about it, and Nike did an amazing job with the advertising and marketing of the Chicago Marathon. They had these signs where it was like, I would never run, and then it was crossed out and it was like, a marathon changed my life. And I thought that was so cool. And so yeah, we went to the Nike store. I ended up getting a hoodie actually from the store, so I got like 3 pieces of merch, but it was really cool. I really liked the line that they came out with. I know some people had mixed feelings on the purple windbreakers. I got one of the purple windbreakers and I'm obsessed with it, so really like the line that they came out with for Chicago. The store was really, really cool, actually. I really enjoyed it. The rest of Saturday was literally just getting dinner and getting everything ready for the race on Sunday. So our race kit, so we'll start with the shoes. The shoes got the new Alpha Flies. As you can see, I've worn them. If you guys have been watching, this is the shoes that I ran my 20-mile workout in. Not all 20 miles were put on them. I did some of them with my Asics, but these are the race day shoes that I did some miles in. And then for the socks, we got Ons, we got the Koros watch, and then this hat that's really cute. It says, "I run in peace." Then we have the bib here with the purple on running shirt, which I love, and then these biker shorts from Old Navy. But this is the gear for tomorrow. Then we have fueling for tomorrow. Strategy is a gel every 3 miles, and so I have 2 caffeinated ones for 3 and 6, and then non-caffeinated ones, and then this one I'll take around like mile 20, 21 for an extra boost because it's caffeinated, and then just bringing 2 extra in case I need it. Tomorrow morning, right before the start, I'll have a Go bar. In the morning, I will have some of a Celsius, and then I will bring some salt with me just in case the sodium in the gels isn't enough. And then bought some of these because I forgot to grab something for my bib. But that is tomorrow. Thank you for your service. With the flashlight. Please. Yeah, show me. That's better. Thank you for the assistance. But we went for dinner. So my pre-race dinner for every single race I do. Oh no, the flashlight went off. Come on, cameraman. So for every race, my pre-race dinner is always steak. I used to do pasta, but I would wake up feeling really bloated and gross. So what I have started doing over the past like 2 years is all of like carb load heavy in the beginning of the day before the race, and then at night have a steak, because there's also just a lot of benefits to eating a steak the night before a race. And I wake up feeling so much better. I'm not bloated. I sleep really well. So we went to this pub for dinner. I got some very, very overcooked steak. If you guys watch, you know I cook steak all the time for me and Caitlin, who is holding a flashlight right
and
now.
her steak is like actually next level. So
And
we're spoiled.
This steak it got the job done. Yeah, and then I am drinking an apple juice right now. I literally only had steak tonight. It came with rice, but I just did not want to eat the rice. So to kind of top off carbs and all that tonight, I am drinking an apple juice. And I'm doing a lot of liquid carbs the past few days with the carb load. But it's like 7:30 right now. Gonna just start to relax, get everything else set up for the morning, and that's pretty much it. If there's anything else tonight that we set up, I'll let you know. If you see me looking down, I literally have like a full notebook of notes. Didn't want to miss anything. So if you see me glancing down, I'm just making sure that I'm literally hitting every single point. So yeah, let's get into what everybody's been waiting for, race day. Race morning, I woke up at 4 a.m. I actually got a really good night of sleep that night. I think I got like 6.5 hours of sleep, which for the night before a race is really, really good for me. And yeah, just woke up, started doing some mobility, getting everything ready, fueling up. And the vibes were honestly really, really high.
How are you feeling? Ready to rock.
Had a bagel, had electrolytes, had a energy drink, had some orange juice after I spilled it all over the floor, and then now I'm drinking some more water, and then I'll drink some electrolytes before the race, and also have a bar. So. But that is not to say that I wasn't super nervous. Like I said earlier, I'm not new to the world of endurance. I've done 6 half Ironmans, 10 half marathons. This was my second marathon. So we've gone through race morning a lot now, but something about this felt different. The day before came out saying there was going to be 55,000 runners, 2 million spectators. And I think my little human brain could not just picture that or wrap my brain around it. So I think I was nervous. I wasn't nervous about the race. I was nervous about what that even was going to look like. But like I said, vibes were high and I was really, really excited. Ended up leaving the hotel at 5:45. I wanted to get to the park early. There was a lot of people out already at that time, going in through the gates, but it was a really smooth process. I didn't have to wait on any lines. I think they had so many gates, and then on your bib, it actually told you based on your corral which gate to go to. So I think that also helped the flow of traffic. But literally first thing I did as soon as I walked through the gates was go on the porta potty line. At that point, it wasn't that long. I think I was standing on it for maybe 15 minutes. But that's when I started having some GI issues, and just being fully transparent, was supposed to get my period on race day. So I knew even if I didn't have it on race day, it was that pre-period buildup to where your body's just kind of all out of whack. So it was having some cramps and GI issues. So it was just doing what I could of staying on top of fueling, staying on top of hydration that race morning. But I'm glad that I hopped right on the porta potty line. And then after that, I went to gear check-in, which was also so easy. Literally just dropped it at the gear check 20 or whatever my bib said. And then after that, I didn't have to go to the bathroom, but I saw how long the porta potty lines were getting, and I was like, I better hop on this because I'm eventually gonna have to go. I've been hydrating, whatever. And thank God I did, because I was on that porta potty line for, it was 45 minutes, I think, when I looked at my watch. And so 45 minutes later, I had to go to the bathroom. And so after that, I went right to my corral, and that's when it started to hit me what I was about to do.
Start at the back of your assigned wave. Please be advised of today's event alert system level history. Whether you're running a personal best or finishing.
That's when I saw what 55,000 runners looked like, and it was so cool, so overwhelming, and just everyone was so excited. Vibes were just really, really high, and it made me excited. Seeing everyone else just hyping each other up, getting in the zone. Yeah, it made me excited, but I was definitely really nervous. I will not lie. I looked at my watch at one point standing there in the corral, and my heart rate was 138, which is what I run at when I'm doing a nice aerobic run. So I was definitely nervous. I was, because yeah, I think it was a mixture of the unknown of what this was gonna look like. Also trying to find my mom and girlfriend in the crowd. Also, just like I think also being worried about my period, because earlier in the year I did get my period during a half Ironman, and it was like absolutely chaos. I was not prepared, but I was prepared this time. So I think it was all these different things, all the emotions, but I was ready. I was super, super excited. My race started at 8:16 a.m. And when I went back and looked at the weather forecast, it was at that time 60 degrees, 87% humidity with a dew point of 52. And it felt like that. It did not feel cool outside, or it felt cool, but definitely like I was in shorts and a t-shirt and I was totally fine. So that was something that I definitely took note of. And it's interesting. I started the race, and the first mile, it felt like I was gonna have like an anxiety attack. That was also probably because just standing there, my heart rate was 138 from being so nervous. But wow is all I can say. So many runners, so many spectators. So as much as awesome as I was, I think I was taken aback for a second, and I was overwhelmed essentially. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. For this race, 9:35 to 9:45 minute per mile was my goal pace. And so I came in at the 5K mark at 30:23, which is a 9:45. So I was right on pace. And then after that, I really settled in until the half, and I was hitting between 9:45 to 9:50 splits, leading into the 13.1 mile mark. That first 13 miles, though, you were not in a stretch where there wasn't crowds or runners next to you. There was a lot of weaving in and out. So that's another thing I think to take note of for these world majors is you're trying to hit your splits, you're trying to fuel your body, but then you're also trying to not run over someone, trip over a cup. There's people crossing over, trying to change sides in the race like spectators. So there's a lot to focus on. And then you're trying to find your people in the crowd. So it was definitely like you had to focus, a lot. That's also something that I took away. But my body started talking to me at the 8-mile mark. And if you've been seeing people posting on social media, I've talked to a lot of people who ran Chicago, who I've been looking at the social media posts. It seems like everyone had a similar experience to where our bodies started talking to us early on in the race. I noticed I started sweating a lot earlier than I thought I was going to. Like I said, high heart rate. Sounds like everyone else experienced that as well. So there must have been something in the air, but I know a lot of other people experienced that as well. I wouldn't say that affected me too much mentally. It was more of just like a note that I made of like, hey, we're sweating, have a little bit of a high heart rate, everyone else seems to be feeling the same thing as well. But I didn't let it really mentally affect me of like, oh man, this is going to be a really long race. Just was trying to be proactive. So through all the aid stations, I was making sure to take water, dump water on my head to cool my, body temperature down. I was staying on top of my sodium, of my fueling, basically like doing everything that I could do. And then also just like my legs felt awesome. Like these paces, like the 9:45 to 9:50 felt so smooth. And so like physically I was like, okay, perfect. Back half, my legs got juice. We're going to be able to, pick this up down to a 9:30. And so, I came at the half at a 2:09:19, which was right on pace, absolutely perfect. And to put in perspective, the world record for women's marathon was broken at the 2024 Chicago Marathon with a time of 2:09. So the winner broke a world record. She did it, I went through the half marathon point the same time she finished her marathon. So putting into perspective how fast these people run this thing. Yeah, it was just funny when I found out what her time was and then what I crossed the half at. I was like, wow, literally the same. So at the halfway point, I was feeling awesome. This was the first time that I saw Caitlin, my mom, and my friend. I also saw a few of my other friends, who were on the sidelines, and the 13-mile point was just so much fun. Talking to my mom and Caitlin, they said it was just like an absolute blast. There were so many people, so many cheering. It was just such an awesome point in the race, because the way the race was set up is the first 8 miles you went north, and then at 8 miles you turned around and you came back downtown. So once you got back into downtown, it was really, I'm going to use the word electric because that's really what it was. Miles 13, 14, and 15 were the times in the race where I felt so good. I think mile 14 I clocked like 9:13, which was like way faster than what my pace was supposed to be. But there's also something to note: the GPS is really weird during the Chicago Marathon. I had points where I was not running this pace, but my watch told me I was doing a 14:05 minute per mile. Another point, I was doing like a 7:53. So it was all over the place. So I ended up manually lapping my watch throughout the race, and also just trying to keep consistent with the effort and the pace I was running, because I knew as long as I didn't really change it that much, I was going to be hitting that like 9:45, 9:50 split. So, but the GPS, all the rumors that you hear about it, definitely true, definitely was wonky. Y'all hear about the mile 18 wall. What about the mile 16 wall? I hit a wall at mile 16. I clocked an 11:19 split. I think I started having the worst stomach cramps I have ever had. It was a really low point. It just like I could not get it under control. And again, looking at other people's social media posts and talking to other people, it sounds like a lot of people around mile 15 started experiencing, a lot of issues. I saw Caitlin and my mom and my friend again at mile 17 and a half. And I just really needed a hug. I was really on the mental struggle bus. I even said to Caitlin when I saw her, I told her, I was like, I'm hurting. But still, you have to try to stay in good spirits during these races, because you're putting so much on your body already. If you let your mental go, just kind of everything goes. So leaving, my mom, Liz, and Caitlin, I really just tried to just keep a positive attitude. I don't think anyone has ever said this in their entire life, but to me, I just kept telling myself, get to mile 20. Because for some reason, like mile 20 in my head seemed like, go from mile 20 to 26 seemed a lot more manageable than going from 16 to 20 for some reason. I think I was just in a really dark spot with, the stomach cramps, that I was kind of like, okay, I think like if I can get to 20, mentally I'll feel a lot better knowing there's a little bit of a countdown, and, I'll kind of fly. But around mile like 18, right after I saw Caitlin, my mom, and Liz, I started getting, it felt like somebody was pushing on my stomach. It hurt so bad, to the point where I was like, I have to go to the bathroom because this is like really, really uncomfortable. So mile 19, I think it was, is when there was a string of porta potties, no line. So I went to the porta potty real quick and I got my period. And yeah, if you know, but just like after that, the rest of the race, I just couldn't bring my heart rate down. I was having just like tremendous cramps the entire time. This is the second time this year that this has happened to me. This time I was actually prepared though. I brought some things with me, but it still is just like a little defeating, of like, man, next year I really need to plan my race schedule around my period, because this is like so annoying. But yeah, so after that, I was like, you know what? We've been here before. It's all good. I was wearing biker shorts, so we were covered. But yeah, my heart rate just could never come down. Heart rate couldn't come down. Had a lot of cramps, and I feel like I like mentally blacked out from miles like 19 to 24. What was frustrating at the time that's motivating now is my legs felt awesome the entire time. They felt like they could push. I never like the Philadelphia Marathon last year, mile 22, my legs were like seizing up, cramping, just could not handle it. And this year, the entire race, my legs felt like they could kick. It really was just my heart rate and the cramps that were holding me back. And yes, the high heart rate has something to do with the period and the weather, but then also just like my fitness definitely needs to catch up to my leg strength. And that's something I'm going to work on in the off season, kind of going into 2025. So that at the time was very frustrating that my legs felt really good, but now it's actually very motivating and it excites me a lot. Can't lie, I was really pumped up when I got to mile 24, because at mile 24, I saw Caitlin's family and they were like going crazy, which was so cool. Saw Caitlin's family, and then I also saw my friend Paige, who actually used to be one of my athletes that I coached, and I gave her the biggest hug. I was so excited because I was also like, I don't know if I'm going to see you the rest of the day. And so miles 24 to 25, my spirits just really started to pick up, and I also just went for it and kind of got back on pace, still taking in water at that point, just really trying to keep everything nice and level. I saw that 1 mile to go sign, and I wanted to start crying.
I'm so proud of myself. I can't cry yet though.
Yeah, that last mile going into the chute, I was so proud of myself for not giving up on myself during that race, and for it was a hard day, and it sounded like it was a hard day for a lot of people, but I controlled what I controlled, and I did it. Like, I knew I was gonna finish the Chicago Marathon really proud. I saw Caitlin and I saw Liz. They were cheering for it. Liz, I think at one point screamed like, "You got this, dude." And even though I was right at the end, that was still really motivating to hear. I remember hearing that and, thinking as soon as she said that, I was like, let's give it our all from now until the finish shoot. Just go.
Come here. I can finish.
Oh, yes. Absolutely amazing. Each and every finisher here today. Shout it out for yourselves, Gerardo, coming into the finish line, Costa Rica, and Becky, and Oscar, Bank of America.
I started seeing stars during that finish shoot. I can't lie. I went back and I checked, and my heart rate during the finish shoot was 180 beats per minute. I was just going, because I also knew that I was a few minutes from a PR, and so I really just wanted to give it my all throughout the finish shoot and really just lay it all on the table. Prove to myself that even though it was a tough day, I could do that shit. I crossed the finish line and I immediately started sobbing.
Chicago Marathon finish, you did it. Yes. Now, New Zealand, what's going on?
I just did my first world major marathon. Oh my God.
Last night I went to the UT football game with a friend, and afterwards, walking back to the car, he asked me, he was like, I saw that video of you crying after you finished the race. Like, if I can ask, like, what was going through your brain when you crossed that finish line? And I'll share with you all what I shared with him. I said a marathon is not just the race. A marathon is, yes, it's the race and everything that happens during the race, but it's also the 3 to 4 months of prep. It's, focusing on your sleep, all the emotions when you do your longest run. It's if you document the journey online, creating a series and, wanting to help other people and show other people, it's the excitement of getting to the city that you're racing in and seeing your loved ones on the course. And it's all of these things. And this Chicago Marathon prep was by far the hardest prep I've ever done in my life. If you guys have been following the series, I got injured early on in the prep, and that injury just kind of lingered throughout the entire thing. And so I wasn't able to get as much volume in as I wanted to. I wasn't able to do as much speed work as I wanted to. It was a tough season of, work for me. It also, was the first time I created a YouTube series, and I had just moved in with Caitlin here in Austin. So, we were on this journey of not being long distance anymore. And so like the whole thing just like ended. It just, as soon as I crossed the finish line, I was like, oh my God, this is over. And it was honestly just like relief. I felt relieved, honestly, that I got through this pretty tough chapter in life, honestly, and this pretty tough prep. Me and Caitlin talked about it after the race. I was so emotional because I was like, the prep was so hard that I was kind of hoping the race would end up being amazing, but it was like the prep was hard and the race was hard. It was all hard, and I learned so much, and I know there's going to be so many lessons that I already kind of like that I'm just going to keep learning from this whole experience. And so when I crossed that finish line, all I could think was like, holy shit, I just did this, and this chapter just like closed. It was also the first race where I didn't have the outcome that I wanted, but I was still instantly proud of myself. I think for a lot of us, if we don't, because I ended up missing my marathon PR by 3 minutes. And so I think that's a tough pill to swallow, but also like, it's the first time where I didn't have the outcome that I wanted in a race. Like I said, was instantly proud of myself. I think a lot of us who miss our goal or miss the outcome that we wanted, it takes us like a few weeks or a few days to be like, all right, but I'm proud of myself for what I did. I like genuinely, as soon as, even before I crossed the finish line, like I was just so proud of how I handled everything. And, the thing that the key takeaway from this race and from this experience, and it's the thing that I keep saying, is the human experience is supposed to be emotional and passionate. You should be passionate about the accomplishments that you either, achieved or the things that you are going after. It should be emotional watching other people accomplish these things. Like, I think, I don't know, like, even though I think like with mental health and like all that, we're getting there, in society, I think there is still a weird pressure of like, don't be emotional, like, don't be too much, don't be too passionate. But really, like, the human experience is so emotional and it's so passionate, and it's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be shared with other people. Like after the race, just seeing my mom, seeing Caitlin, seeing Liz, seeing, my friends. Like, if I did this alone, this would have not been fun. Like it's meant to be shared with other people. And that's just what I keep telling myself after this race, is the human experience is supposed to be emotional, and it's supposed to be passionate, and it's supposed to be fun. And you're meant to do it with other people and experience life together, That was my breakdown of the race, how it went for me personally, and my thoughts, directly after the race, and then also now that I've done a lot of reflection. But Chicago Marathon as a whole was epic. I will say, like, it was, for being such a huge race, it was very well organized. Like I said, like, even though things were pretty crazy at the expo, race morning in the corrals, the porta potty lines and stuff, it was really well run. There wasn't anything that really happened where I was like, wow, like, this kind of sucks, from a sense of like, not me like running a marathon and like kind of having a hard race. Like, logistically, the Chicago Marathon was awesome. I think the course was amazing. The course like wasn't as flat as people made it out to seem, which was fine. That was something I noticed. The crowds were absolutely insane, the most insane experience of my life. If you go back and you watch the race day video, you'll see a lot of that in that video. Just like the runners were so positive too, like everyone was so positive, and it was just really well run. I've heard a lot of other things about some of the world majors, and I've only heard good things about Chicago, and I'm another example of someone who ran the Chicago Marathon that loves the Chicago Marathon. I thought the city was awesome. Logistically, like I said, it was really well ran. We got to witness a women's world record. It just, so many of my friends ran it. It just awesome, really awesome. It's the only world major I've done. I did put my name in the lottery for Berlin next year, and I'm going to do so for the New York City Marathon. So I want to experience more, and as I do more of them, I'll share more experiences. But yeah, Chicago Marathon, if you have the opportunity to do it, do it. I'm getting chills right now. It was the most emotional experience of my life in the best way possible, and I want you to experience it. And if you did experience it, I hope you feel the same way. Even if you didn't have the race you wanted, it was truly a once in a lifetime experience. Guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all the support on this YouTube series. If you know me personally, I have been creating videos since I was 12. I do social media for work. Obviously this is like a passion project and such of mine, but for work, I handle other social media accounts and such, as well as coaching people. And so I'm a creative at heart. I love creating and I love running. So like the two is literally perfect. And to have gone through and created my first YouTube series on here has been also just the experience of a lifetime. And there's going to be so many more where this came from. So make sure you subscribe, because big goals in 2025. I'm going to take the next month to really just think about everything. And even though I kind of know what I want to do in 2025, really like think about it. And then we'll be kicking into the first race prep of 2025. Going to be posting videos, weekly until the next race prep series, but just know that that's coming, and make sure to subscribe for the big goals in 2025. But yeah, Chicago Marathon was such an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for all the love, for the support. All I feel is gratitude, and I'm going to remember this chapter of my life forever. And I'm really going to remember it because I put it all on YouTube, so you can see this chapter of my life as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much again for everything the past couple of months. I am so excited for the future. I'm so excited about what happened last weekend, and I am looking forward to continue putting things out here on YouTube and experiencing life and the human experience through running. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.